We've got our special guest, Ryder, on
What's
the
up, Ryder?
podcast.
How you doing today?
Good.
You good?
Wanna
Are
say
you
hi?
good?
Hi.
Can you say hi, podcast?
Hi, podcast.
Can you sing a song?
Mama.
Okay, go.
Mama.
How about you give the listeners a shaka?
Letter of hope.
Say aloha, shakas.
Bye-bye.
Aloha,
Aloha.
shakas.
Shaka.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Story. My name is Alyssa.
My name's Kupono, and together we're Kulissa.
Okay. I didn't see that one coming.
Neither did I.
But we are excited for this week's episode. Today we're talking about adulting and the transition from teens to 20s and 30s. I'm going to be 30 at the end of this year. But yeah, we're going to talk about adulting. But before we get into that, hi, thanks for listening or watching. We're going to start sharing our highs and lows on these current episodes. A lot of our episodes have been pre-recorded from a few months back when we lived in Hawaii, so a lot of our friends are in those. But when we record in this little setup here, this is current recording episodes. So yeah, we live in Alabama now. But what are some highs and lows? You want to share some?
Yeah, I'll go first. Let's see, some highs and lows. Oh, high is...
Of the week, by the way. I don't know if I said that.
Okay,
Yeah.
of the week. Highs of the week is finally settling into the workflow. And that's been going good. It's good to be back in work. It was weird not working for like almost 2 months.
Yeah, super weird.
And I was just in a funk and whatnot. So it's good to like have some kind of like steady whatever, steady incomes, like a actual like routine.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd be getting up at 5 a.m. in the morning to get ready for work, but I am, and it's not all that bad. So yeah, work is going good. A low of the week would be what is my low of the week? Oh, I guess it'd be work too. So every day of this past week, we've been scheduled to work overtime, like 1 hour or 2 hours.
Yeah.
And there's some days where we actually had to work overtime. Some days they would call it off like the last minute, and that's been kind of like playing with my emotions. Like, are we gonna work overtime or not today? And don't get me wrong, I'm grateful for work and I'm grateful for overtime because that's a little extra money. But yeah, just getting used to that.
Yeah.
Not knowing if we're gonna have overtime or if I'm not knowing if I'm gonna have to work longer than scheduled in the day. So, but other than that, yeah, that's my week.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna start off with my low. My low of the week is, you can probably hear it a little bit. I'm a tiny bit congested. I have a tiny, tiny bit of a cold probably, and I don't even know. I don't want to say it's a cold. It could be allergies for all I know, honestly. It's just literally congestion, and that's it. And that's probably my low.
Did you know if you looked at the weather app today, like the air quality is kind of sucky?
I feel like because we were like in super cold and then it just came into the 70s all of a sudden, like maybe that could be it. So I don't know. It could be like the weather change.
It also came from the best weather on the planet too. Like
the best air probably, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so that's my low, but I'm feeling good. It just sound stuffy. And then my high of this week actually was it 2 days ago. Was it yesterday did I do it?
Know.
No, 2 days ago, Ryder and I went on a bike ride. Was that 2 days ago? Oh my gosh, my memory. I can't even.
2 days ago.
Yeah, whenever it was. Yesterday or 2 days ago?
2 days ago.
Ryder and I went on a bike ride. We live in this neighborhood and there's like a 5-minute bike ride away is like a lake, a really, really pretty lake. And there's like a little playground by it. There's a gazebo. There's a bunch of ducks, turtles, swans. And so I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna grab my bike. We have a little toddler seat on the back of my bike and just like did a morning bike ride there. And I was like nervous at first because I was like, first off, I never tried this bike ride, so I didn't know how long it was gonna be or if my legs are gonna be tired because I am not active at all. And I don't like I'm not an avid
It's a
bike
shame.
rider. So I was like, am I gonna make it? Am I gonna be fine? And then I was like, is Ryder gonna like it or is he gonna get fussy? But it was literally perfection. Like the weather was
Yeah, the weather
so
looked great.
nice. Yeah, the weather was amazing. The ride there, I just felt like I can do this. I got this. Like this is giving me energy. Like this is so fun. Ryder's chilling. He's like, look, mama. He's pointing to things and all that stuff. He's like, truck, truck, all these things. We get to the lake. We're riding around the lake and I didn't know the lake had like turtles and there was like baby turtles everywhere. Ryder's like turtles. He sees the ducks. Anyways, it was just really, really good. And I was telling Pono and I mentioned it to him so much that day. I don't know if you were sick of me mentioning it, but I was just like, it just felt so good. One, to get outside because we're normally stuck in the house all the time. Um, and two, it just felt good to get some exercise in,
Yeah.
honestly, and do it with Ryder
Well,
and
we've
enjoy it with
been
Ryder.
like stuck inside for so long, and the weather's not been the greatest, so
Yeah,
it was nice to have some sunshine.
it was
I mean, for
nice.
you, I've been stuck in a building,
Yeah.
so I didn't even know the
And
sun
then
was
you have
out.
the car throughout the day, so it's
Oh
not like I
yeah,
can just pick up and drive and go to the
right.
stores or go to the park or anything like that. So I was like, this is definitely going to become like a new thing for Ryder and I, because it just felt like super good. I felt energized. On the way back, though, it started getting a little rough
Hmm.
on my legs, but I was like, I got this. I'm almost there. Like I said, it's like 5 minutes
Yeah.
away, but definitely going to be heading out to the lake and take him out to the playground. It'll just be good for him too. But anyways, that's my high. It was so good to be out in the sun. But like I mentioned earlier, we are talking about adulting today, and I'm excited. Somebody actually wrote us a question, and it said, and I'm gonna read it. I have my little notepad here. If you're watching,
You're very
um,
like well prepared.
I have to, or else I will literally forget, and then this will be like a mess. Um, Question was, name one thing you would want to share to college students slash teenagers entering the adult life. And
That's a
when
great question.
yeah, it's a super good question. And when I read that to you, we were both saying like we should just do a whole episode on like adulting or like
Hmm.
adulthood or like just transitioning from teens to 20s.
Yeah.
Because there's literally so much we can't even name one thing. Like there's so many things. So we have a couple things that we wrote down. But yeah, teens to 20s. What's your experience on your transition from high school into like adulthood?
A lot happened in those formative years of my life. A lot of good and a whole lot of bad, and a whole lot of bad was like 100% my fault, my doings, whatever. But
Mm,
a lot of lessons learned, and I would say that transition from I would say like my senior year of high school to like early like 2021.
mm-hmm.
Um, it was very interesting because I did go to I ended up going to college after high school, and the plan for me was to go either go into fire science or the EMT program at KCC, and from there like get into the fire department and go that route. That was my plan. Obviously, I'm none of those, so but that plan ended up not working out so well,
Mm-hmm.
and I think by let's see, by the time I was 20 years old, I had dropped out of college
Mm.
because I learned real quick that it just wasn't for me,
Mm.
and so I ended up working full time. I started working full time when I was 19 years old. I was still in school and working full time, and I've been working full time ever since I was 19, 20. And but yeah, transitioning was real weird because although I had my parents like um, trying to direct me in
Uh-huh.
the right path, I had my own plans,
Yeah.
and I didn't. When you're that age, you really don't care what other people
Yeah.
are
You
saying,
think
right?
you know
You
it
think you
all.
know it all,
Yeah.
right? and so I thought I knew it all. So I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? Like, I'm not gonna listen to my parents. I'm not gonna listen to um, the the elders in my life,
Yeah.
and I'm just gonna do whatever I want to do. And so that mindset got me into a lot of trouble.
Mm.
But you know, I'm grateful for that season of my life because it taught me a lot,
Yeah.
and it taught me how to like kind of figure things out on my own.
Mm.
Not that you should have to do that, but if you're there's gonna be times in your life where you have to kind of like figure things out on your own
Yeah.
and make it work.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. I think for myself, after high school, I actually didn't go straight to college or anything like that. I took a year where I was just working, and um, I worked at Papa John's, and it was great. I actually kind of miss it, low key, sometimes. But yeah, I just worked for that year. And then when I started college, by that time, if you watched the episode with my sister Melissa, we talked a little bit about like how my parents moved to the mainland. We decided to stay in Hawaii, which meant that like we were funding ourselves. So I was still working at Papa John's, but also I decided to go to school. I went to a Bible college, and then I never wanted to take any loans out or anything, just because I didn't want to be in like major debt. And so whatever I went to school for, like I paid, because I yeah didn't want to be in
Were
debt.
you a full time student or were
No,
you,
I wasn't. So
uh,
that's why I
you're
never
able
went.
to afford?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I never did full time because I only did what I could afford.
Hmm.
And so
Which
yeah,
isn't a bad thing, right?
yeah,
Sometimes people think they have to like I have to take, you know, four or five classes. Or is
yeah,
that 12, 16 credits?
yeah.
You know, but
Sometimes you have to do what you got to do
right.
to make it work,
Hmm.
right? And so, yeah, then I ended up dropping out of college because my major that I was going for was a creative arts major with an emphasis on multimedia. And I ended up getting an internship at our church for multimedia, which turned into a full time job in multimedia production, video editing, and all that stuff. So there was really no point of me finishing my degree because my degree was for something that I was already doing.
Right. And you were gonna learn everything that you were gonna learn in school. You're
I was
already
already
learning
learning, yeah. And I
on the
was,
kind of on the
yeah,
job.
on the job
Yeah.
training for sure, and like just always learning, right?
Hmm.
And so I ended up going to school, which obviously cut down cost on like just that, right?
Hmm.
I didn't have to pay school anymore. But yeah, that was like kind of my transition from like high school into the college life and like just really working. That was like my main thing was working. And I don't know, college these days is like obviously if you're trying to be a doctor, you need to be in college. Obviously if you want to go to college, go to college.
Hmm.
But I don't think that if you don't go to college, it's like the end of the world. And
Right.
I'm not saying don't go to college.
Hmm.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like obviously different things work for different people,
Right.
and I didn't feel like I needed it for my degree. And even though I'm not like fully employed with a production company right now, I'm still freelance video editing and still making good money that way. There's a lot of opportunities in freelance video editing. So yeah, I don't know. Just go like
And I think like growing up, we're so conditioned to like, okay, we're gonna go K through 12, and then after high school, we're gonna go off into a 4 year college or
yeah,
and then go into a master's program and whatever, and
yeah,
we grow up so conditioned to think like that.
yeah,
And no, I'm not saying that college is bad. College is great. I think
yeah,
education is
100%.
great. The more
Yeah,
what you don't know is what you don't know, right?
yeah,
And you're always gonna be learning. The moment you like put a cap on yourself and say, you know, I know it all already,
yeah,
then you shoot yourself in the foot.
yeah,
Um, so hey, if you want to go to college.
yeah,
But we're always taught and told like go to a 4 year university,
yeah.
you know. But on the like flip side of that is like there's so much other options out there. There's trade school,
Mhm.
you know, where it's like real specific to whatever trade you're going into. There's programs like fire science or the
Mhm.
EMT program or um, I don't know. There's so many other options out
Yeah.
there to further your education
Yeah.
rather than
And
spending,
career.
yeah, and
Yeah.
career, rather than spending tens of thousands of dollars and being like buried in student debt, and then you're
Yeah.
not even working in that field
Yeah.
that you majored in.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, and I see
Yeah.
a lot of my friends and a lot of people I know who, are like drowning in student debt loans and they're not even working in the field that they went to school for,
Yeah.
or they're having a hard time finding a job. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, like I'm glad I'm not there, but at the same time, like I feel for them because they worked hard,
Yeah.
to get to where they're at, and it's just competitive out there. So
So besides transitioning from teens to 20s and education being a big part of that, there's also the
the
college
party life,
party life,
the
which
nightlife, the party life,
I know
and
nothing about. So take it away.
yeah. So you know, you grow up and you live with your parents for so long, and after a while, you're like, man,
What?
that noise just.
Oh, sorry. I'm
Uh,
drinking my coffee and he gets annoyed by
yeah.
it.
Well,
Sorry. Okay, continue.
yeah.
Sorry.
So like, you get to a point where like, okay, I'm a grown adult. I'm 18 years old. I should be able to do whatever I want, whenever I want. Have no curfews, no restrictions, no nothing, right?
Yeah.
And so, a lot of people they'll go off to college in a different state or away from home, and their eyes open up to this whole new world of fun,
Yeah.
right? And so, yeah, you just want to let loose because you've been like for 12, 13 years of your life, or 18 years of your life up to that point, you've been either sheltered or like um, restricted from doing a lot of things.
Uh-huh.
And that's kind of like my life growing up. I'm not saying that it was bad. I had a great childhood, I had a great family, but I wasn't always allowed to like stay out super late in high school or um, do certain things and whatnot. And so it came a point in my life where I was like, I'm just gonna do whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
And my parents had this rule, and I know a lot of my friends' parents had the same rule. It was like, hey, as long as you live under our roof,
Yeah.
you live by our rules. So
Yep.
if we say you gotta be home by midnight, you gotta be home by midnight.
Yep.
Or um,
Which is also a very reasonable rule if
it
you
is
think
it's
about it.
so
Yes.
reasonable.
Very
Like
reasonable.
they're paying
Yep.
for you to have a roof over your head.
Yep.
You're probably eating their food,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
You're probably still on their phone plan.
Yep.
All they're funding your life
Yeah.
still at that point, right? And so, just because you're 18 doesn't mean that, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
There's consequences still. So anyways, your eyes are just open to this whole new world and you want to go and explore and whatnot, which, it's not all that bad exploring and like, figuring out life.
Yeah.
But like you said, there's boundaries,
Yeah.
right? And everyone's boundaries and thresholds are all different. But for me, I had no boundaries in that season of my life. I would say from like 16 years old to my early 20s, like there was no boundaries. I was doing whatever I wanted and like making my parents real mad. Um, but also, I didn't go to like college parties.
Yeah.
I just went to parties.
Yeah.
And I also played in a band, and we would play at all these parties and all
Yeah.
these bars and whatnot. So I was exposed to a lot of stuff,
Mhm.
and I also engaged in a lot of partying and all that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a real interesting time in my life. And when I look back on it, like we did a lot of dumb things, but it was fun. And at that time, it was real fun. And I actually met a lot of my friends that I'm still really close with today through that season of life.
Mm.
And it's crazy to see that all of us made it out
Yeah.
alive and are doing pretty well for ourselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an interesting season because I'm seeing like the generation after us going through that now,
Mhm.
where they graduate from high school and then they move off or whatever, and now they're like letting loose and whatnot. And I'm not saying it's bad or anything, but
Yeah, you're not bashing anybody
yeah,
for
I'm
doing
not
that.
because I
Yeah.
did that,
Yeah.
and I learned a lot
Yeah.
through that. And just if you're gonna party, just do it safe. Don't drink and drive. Don't let your friends drink and drive. And Just always watch each other's back because some sketchy stuff happens out there,
Yeah.
and I've seen some sketchy stuff happen. So
Yeah.
yeah, if you're gonna go out, but like be aware, watch each other's back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For sure.
do it safe.
Yeah, that's a big part of the college life experience that I didn't have. So I'm glad that you were able
You
to
glad that I had
share.
it?
No, that I'm glad that you were able to
It was
share on
fun.
that.
We had so much fun, and if you talk to any of my friends and whatnot, if you know any of my friends, like you would know that we had so much fun growing up.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys always talk about all those memories. So very cool. And also the bad memories, which you guys are like, you guys look back and you're like, we're dumb. Why did we ever do that? But also we learned a lot from it.
Yeah,
So that's like the beauty in
yeah.
it is that you learn
Whenever I
from it.
share like my testimony, like I always like started off by saying like I should either be dead in jail or like on the street somewhere
Yeah.
if I had continued on that path.
Yeah.
But thank God I didn't. So
Thank God you didn't.
moving on.
Moving on. Okay, another thing that we wanted to bring up in like this adulthood phase of your life is meeting new people. Um, and the reason why we want to talk about this is because I hear so many young people, young adults, talk about how it is hard to meet new people in that like specific season of your life because let's go back to grade school, high school, whatever. You're with these people every single day, Monday through Friday, 8 to 3, whatever it is that you're in school. So you're with the same people every single day. So you're bound to find friendships and you're bound to find people that you connect with, right?
Yeah, and don't forget like the extracurricular
The
activities,
extracurricular, you have
sports,
sports
music,
and all
whatever.
that
Yeah.
stuff, right? So you have like these people that you're constantly around. You're around hundreds of people. And then you get into like the adult life and now you're like in college or maybe you're working. And if you're working, let's say, right, you're at a 9 to 5, whatever, and maybe you don't get along or you don't click or vibe with your
Hmm.
coworkers, then like where do you find friends if you're not still connected with your high school friends or anything like that? So meeting new people is definitely like harder as an adult, I feel like,
Hmm.
and then especially like because your time is very scarce as well,
Right, right.
because you're so busy with work and school and all that stuff. So I don't know, what are your tips for that? What do you think for meeting new people as an adult, as a young adult?
Well, I think for the young adults now, the ones that are, in that transition from
Yeah.
teens to 20s, it's a lot harder for them than what we had and what the generation before us had it because of social media. And I think
Mm,
like everyone's so like used to communicating this way
yeah.
virtually
Yeah.
versus like face to face.
Yeah.
So that's a big factor in as far as like meeting new people.
Yeah.
We don't know how to interact in person,
Yeah.
and that's a scary thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Or maybe people are going out less
right,
too
people are
and
going out less.
yeah.
You can thank the pandemic for that.
No, that's so true. Being on your phone too.
Yeah, people are just more homebodies that they want to keep to themselves. And then there's the people who just want to go out and like they're real extroverted and like and then there's the polar opposite, the introverts. So for me, like I'm super introverted,
Mm.
as you
Yes.
can tell, right?
Yes.
And like I don't really like talking to people, and it's funny because like I spent the better part of my 20s like in ministry and
Mhm.
in a work field that like you have to talk to people
Yeah.
and you have to be personable and engaging and all that. But I hate talking to people.
Mm.
It's weird. It's so weird. But what helped me was, like I said, I played in a band, and so
Yeah.
we would play at all these places and meet all these random people who are not random people to us anymore. Because over the years they just become friends. Some, as much as like family,
Yeah.
and that helped me like get out of my comfort zone. Because
Mm.
you're going into a new environment weekly or whatnot, and um, yeah, you just meet new people from all walks of life. So the band that season of my life helped me a lot.
Mhm.
Even work, like you said, work. Like you might not like your coworkers, but I worked for a company who for the most part, a lot of us got along and a lot of us hung out outside of work. And so
Yeah.
I was real blessed to like just like it came so natural. I
Yeah.
didn't have to like force any friendships or relationships or
Yeah.
whatnot. Like everything just kind of came natural, and I was able to meet a lot of people along the way that I'm still like good friends with to this day.
Yeah.
Um, and but yeah, I mean there's definitely times where you know I struggled meeting friends, and I think I'm struggling now more now than I did back then,
Mm.
and I think it's because um,
Well, this is a big transition
yeah,
to a different state.
we're in a totally different state,
Yeah.
and like so I had to leave all the
Everything.
friends and relationships and family behind,
Yeah.
start fresh,
Yeah.
and I
Which you've
kind
never
of
done
which I've
before.
never done before,
Yeah.
and I quite frankly I forgot how to like make friends
Yeah.
because I've had the same friends for decades
Yeah.
and decades,
Yeah.
like my whole life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's really interesting because we're like kind of in that season right now of meeting new people, making new friends, and we're both introverts. Like, I feel like I'm getting a little bit more extroverted. I love people, but that doesn't necessarily mean being with people always fills my tank. So I am a homebody. I am pretty shy with people my age too. Like if I were to go out and meet like younger people, we worked in youth ministry for a long time, so I love connecting with younger people just because they're more crazy, outgoing, and it's fun. But I really struggled for a long time with meeting people my age because I was like, I'm like such a like weirdo. Like I like doing fun things, and I don't know if adults are more serious and all that stuff. And maybe that was just my head because I know so many people my age, many of my close friends who are crazy like me and like to do all these crazy things. But yeah, that's kind of what we are learning. We're like relearning right now. And even for me, because I lived in Hawaii for 13 years, but before that, growing up, I always had to make new friends.
mhm,
Every 2 years, every 3 years, we would move. But I forgot how to
how to
do
do
that,
yeah.
right? So now we're in that space of like, okay, now we're gonna have to meet new people, which is great. Like we want to meet new people, but like, how are we gonna do it? We're both pretty shy and introverted. So like, how are we gonna like take that step? And I think it's just really just being bold.
Hmm.
And like when you find somebody that feel that you have like
Common ground.
common ground with or you connect with really well, then just like ask them to go out to coffee and all that stuff. And so that's kind of like where we're at.
Hmm.
And so for people, and even you mentioned social media earlier and like how it's harder, but I also feel like social media can be a tool for
Yeah.
the good for meeting new people. For example, like
Just be careful of the weirdos out there.
yeah, obviously be careful. But in Hawaii, there was like some girls that reached out to me on Instagram to like go have lunch with them, and we
Oh
did
yeah.
that. And I ended up like connecting with one of the girls really well, and it just ended up being like fun and cool. And obviously we didn't hang out all the time. We lived on different sides of the island, but it was like we would always be interacting on Instagram. And if I
Or
really
you would
really
bump into them at the mall.
bump into them at the mall. And if I really didn't have like any close friends, I would have felt comfortable reaching out to them and being like, hey, let's go hang out, let's go to the mall or whatever like that. So social media definitely can be a tool. So if that's you and you're in this place where you want new relationships and you want new connections, and you know some people like in on social media like that you've kind of seen like friends of friends
Hmm.
that you know are real people, don't look at sketchy pages or anything like that, just like reach out, send a message. I mean, the worst they can say is no. You all don't run into them anyways,
Hmm.
most likely. So it's not like it's gonna be like awkward or
Yeah.
anything.
Just don't
But
be weird. Just don't be
yeah,
creepy or
yeah,
weird.
yeah. But anyways, social media can be a good tool for
Yeah.
that,
You're
like
right.
to make connections in that way and like connect with people, especially if you don't have their number to text them to like go hang
Hmm.
out. But yeah, we're in that season right now, trying to find friendships as well. And
Yeah.
so
I find for me nowadays I find that it's easier for me to connect with older people, like
older.
older, like
Mm,
15, 20 years older than me.
wow.
It's weird.
Why?
It's I don't because maybe like I think it's because like I spent a lot of time with my dad
Mm.
and or my mom and like just so I connect with people like their age.
And also because when we worked in youth ministry, we had a lot of the parents of the kids
Mm.
that we were around a lot too, that like that we clicked with a lot, and so like that could be it too, like a lot of the uncles and aunties that we were around.
And
So
we had some pretty good leaders above us too.
yeah,
You know that like at least for me, I was able to like connect with a lot of them,
yeah,
and they're still very much a part of our life. So,
yeah, for sure.
but like for people like our age, especially here in Alabama, like oh, I'm having such a hard time. So I'm thankful for work. I work with some good people,
Yeah.
so I'm meeting new friends that way. But
Yeah, it's definitely harder as an adult, but we want to encourage anybody who's out there in that season. You got this.
yep,
Take a step of boldness. Don't just wait around for people to come to you because people don't know you're waiting, most likely. And that's for us too.
yeah.
Like, we want to be able to take that step of boldness
It's
as
like
well.
you're waiting for them to like make the first move, but they're waiting for you to make the first move, and
Yeah. Nobody's going to make the first move.
no one. You're just gonna be lonely for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Okay. Let's not be dramatic.
Lonely.
Oh, I was thinking the Justin Bieber Lonely
Oh.
song. I was gonna sing it, but I don't know if you want to hear that. Okay. Anyways, moving on to our next topic in adulthood. Gotta love it. We love a good time management and finance topic.
Because we know so much about
Because
this.
we are professionals. No. Disclaimer before we even talk about time management and finances.
Before we talk about anything, I think we should throw a disclaimer in the beginning.
Disclaimer in
We
the
don't know.
beginning.
We're not professionals in anything.
Nothing. Nothing. Nada.
No.
Zip. Okay. But yeah, definitely not in the time management and finance department. But I feel like we've been taught things that we are constantly trying to implement and learn. And time management, I don't know. I feel like there's just a balance to life, and you're constantly trying to like every season's going to have a different balance, right? Some seasons you're going to spend more time working, and then maybe you get married. Some seasons you have to spend more time investing into your family than like, working 24/7. So, yeah, time management just is really dependent on your season, and it's just really about finding the balance. There is no like direct answer of like this is how you manage your time because it's literally different for every single person, right? So yeah, what about you? Do you have any tips for time management?
Yeah, I don't manage my time. You manage it for me.
I manage it for
You're my
you.
manager.
Oh my gosh.
No, yeah, I had to learn the hard way in time management. When you're younger, like you think you can like just go, 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 and you have all the energy in the world, and which you do because you're young,
Yeah.
right? And you're fresh and whatnot. You're just so excited to
You're
get it.
fresh.
You're just so excited to get out there and go to work or go to school or hang out with your friends, and which is all great stuff. But there's gonna come a point in your life where like you're just gonna burn out if
Yeah.
you keep going, right? Especially those of you that are in school, that are working, that have a social life. Like you're gonna burn out quick if you don't manage your time.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to me multiple times.
Yeah.
I burned out a lot in my early 20s.
Mm.
And that's because I was, playing with my band. I was working full time. I was doing ministry, um, and and then a social life,
Yeah.
outside of all that. And so I would, it, and this is bad, and I highly 100% do not recommend this. But for the sake of this, I'll just share.
Mm.
When I was playing with my band, we would gig like Thursday, Friday nights, right? And then like after working a full day.
Mm.
And then the weekend would come. We would gig sometimes Saturdays. We have like day gigs or whatnot, and then go to church and do ministry stuff. Gig Saturday night, and then stay out late, and then wake up early Sunday morning to do church again. And then Monday you start the work week, and it's
Yeah.
just a cycle that just kept going and going and going,
Yeah.
and eventually it catches up to you. And so yeah, I learned the hard way in that. And so as I got older, and I think it was around the time we started dating and got married and all that, where I was able to like, well, a lot of that stuff like I stopped doing. Like I stopped, our band stopped gigging as much, and because we're all like in different seasons of life, or in the same season of life, we're
Yeah.
moving out of that phase. We're all getting married. We're all starting families.
Yeah.
So life slowed down a lot, and I was able to manage my time.
Yeah.
Whereas like I remember we had this conversation a while ago, like when we clock out of work, we're clocking out of work, and
Yeah.
we're not going to try to bring work into
Yeah.
our home. In the sense of like, we say you clock out at like 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
After that, it's it's family time,
Yeah.
right? And do we always do that? No, but we all,
Especially in this season.
yeah,
Because like I'm running the business or like
right,
running the
right.
business and
So
then
we're still
freelancing.
we're still like
So
adjusting,
that's why I'm saying like yeah, different seasons have
but
different balances.
but I think we do a pretty good job as far as like making time for each other and
Yeah.
our family throughout the day.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I mean, it's always gonna change,
Yeah.
but the important thing is like, know your limit, and like, it's okay to say no to things.
Yes,
I think
literally.
like a lot of people think like they have to say yes to going
Yeah.
out with their friends, or say yes to, uh, you know, working extra hours, or say yes to, um, you know,
Whatever it
whatever
is.
it is, just to
Yeah.
please the other person.
Yeah.
But that's like a huge like, that's a huge mistake I made growing up, is like saying yes to everything.
Yeah.
And so now I don't like, I don't care if I say no, or
Yeah.
and I don't, to be blunt, I don't care if like the other person like, gets offended if I say no,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, like, your health, your mental health, your family, is more important than work,
Yeah.
because work will come and go, but like, your family's gonna be here
Yeah.
at the end of the day. So
Yeah, so that was like something that we kind of like had to work through. I want to say maybe like a year and a half ago, maybe, where like I've been through a season where and it was mainly like in high school and like right after high school, when I was saying yes, 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 yes to everything, every opportunity. And I was just really stoked on like ministry and church, which I still am, but like I was doing everything. Um, and then like I just realized that I was doing too much, slowed down, whatever. We ended up getting married, whatever, whatever. And then like even like a year and a half ago, like you were really stoked on what you were doing and you were saying yes to a lot of things and
yeah,
that's not a
because we had
bad.
like, we had projects, like extra projects going on in like outside of, or in ministry, but outside of like our work hours.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
So there was just things where it's like we don't have to say yes to everything and I was like, well, and I wasn't saying this to be like controlling and like you don't say that yes to that blah 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 blah, but there was just like when it came to too much after a period of time, then it's like, okay, wait, well what about like time with Ryder and all that stuff. So it's definitely like finding a balance. And it's
yeah,
not like you have to say no to everything, but you also don't have to say yes to
yeah,
everything as well.
hmm,
So it's just really finding that balance that fits you and you can feel it. You can feel when things are like out of whack in your life because
yeah,
like you said you can get burnt out, you can get like super tired, you can get like what's going on, what is the purpose of why am I even doing this. um so yeah, time management is huge and just finding those pockets of time to like fill your tank
yeah,
because you aren't able to like give to others if your
right,
tank is not full.
yeah,
So
and if you're, I'll speak to those that are like in a relationship or married or whatnot, like, um, you might like, your capacity might be a lot bigger than your partner's,
yeah.
right? And you might be able to handle saying yes, yes, yes to all these things, and occasional no here and there. But your significant other capacity might be a lot smaller, and so like, between the both of you, you're gonna have to figure out what's a good medium that
Yeah.
you can like meet in the middle and say, like, okay, this is, these days of the week we're gonna spend time.
Yeah.
We're gonna schedule out time. I think like we did that for a little bit. We're scheduling out time to spend with each other, or we're saying, hey, this night we're gonna go out, or
Yeah.
this day we're gonna do this and that.
Or even just writing down what each other have, like work related or like after work related, so that it gives us a heads up. Okay,
Yeah,
I
we did that
know.
for like a solid 2 months.
Yeah, but
But it
it
worked, because
worked.
after that, it just became like muscle
Yeah,
memory. Like, okay,
yeah,
we got work, and then after work, I gotta go coach basketball,
yeah,
or you got a video shoot or whatnot.
yeah,
And so we knew what we communication, right?
yeah.
It comes down to
Communication. Yeah, yeah. It
like,
all comes
as
down
long
to
as you
that.
know what each other's doing, then you're able to plan around that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, so that's a little time management and now finances. I don't know. It's not going to be super long because we're like I said, we're no experts, but just a little bit of what we learned.
Yeah, I'm an expert at spending all my money,
Yeah.
so I can tell you how to do that. Just
Yeah, ask him that later because he knows all about that. But normally the girl spends all the money, but
no, well,
you've actually gotten
I
better.
don't spend. You shop a lot more. I just
Not
buy more.
anymore.
I just buy expensive things.
I don't anymore.
No, but that's how it was. Like
It was,
you
yeah, for
were
sure.
like you shopped a lot more than me,
And not
but
spend a lot.
I would
You
spend a lot on one thing.
Yeah, because your stuff is more expensive, like music stuff and sound
Hmm.
stuff and all that stuff. But yeah, so finances. One thing that we've learned that kind of sticks with me that we don't implement, but it sticks in my head, but we used to implement is naming where every dollar
Yeah,
goes.
put a name to every.
Put a name to every dollar. What is this from? Probably
I
like
was
some
broke. No, I'm not.
I was broke, now I'm not. Dave Ramsey, probably. Who knows? But yeah, putting a name on every dollar so that it's just not like leftover money. Because leftover money, what will you do with it? You'll spend it on food, clothes,
Hmm.
whatever, whatever. So just knowing that every dollar has a name to it and marking that down, that's like a budgeting tip. But I don't know, budgeting is good, especially if you're a young person. You're never too young to start saving money because, and we talked about this in like the last episode with Ufi, like she talked about having a savings account and having to use it for emergency purposes. Like that's what savings accounts are. I mean, it's for saving and all that stuff, but that also is a good backup plan. Like
When you
if you
find
have an
yourself in a
emergency.
pinch, you might have to
Yeah,
dip
you
into
might
that.
have to like get it. So
Yeah.
like you're never too young. If you just graduated high school and you have a job, start saving 20 bucks. 20 bucks bucks a paycheck. That will literally like add up after some time. 20 bucks and don't touch it. What?
You know, it's crazy.
What?
Speaking about 20 bucks, so when I first started working, I was 15 years old. My
Uh-huh.
first job was McDonald's,
Okay.
along with everyone else.
Yeah.
And that lasted like 2 weeks or something. But I started working as a swim instructor and then lifeguarding. And 20 bucks in high school was like was the allowance I gave myself per week.
Mm.
And it's crazy that I could live off of 20 bucks in one week. Now you
Not
can't.
anymore. Yeah.
20 bucks will get you through half a day.
Yeah. But like saving 20 bucks a paycheck,
Hmm.
if you're just starting out and you're super young, then do it. If you have more money, 50 bucks. Just
Yeah.
put something aside because in the future, even if you are just saving to go on a trip, that could work too. But yeah, just to have a savings for like emergency purposes. As you're getting older, you're gonna realize, oh, I'm gonna need some backup money. I'm in a pinch. I need this. I mean, we've been there, right? Where we've had to do that. And so we're glad that we had a savings to do that. So I guess that would be like one of my financial tips. We could probably go on and on about finances and like some of the mistakes that we've made, some of the things that we've learned. But I guess like as a young person, what I heard from my dad is to save from the get go, like graduating high school, even before, to save, save, save. So that's like the one tip that I would
Yeah.
give.
Yeah. A lot of you guys might have heard the phrase of like having a rainy day fund. And typically, like a rainy day fund is like 2 to 3 months
Yeah.
worth of
Life
your
expenses.
life
Yeah.
expenses. Because you never know. Like now we live in a state where tornadoes can like come and destroy our home.
I hope not, but
We
yeah.
hope not, but like
Yeah.
something catastrophic might happen in your life,
Yeah.
and you might be out of work for X amount of time.
Yeah.
If you don't have a savings, then you know,
Yeah.
you're gonna find yourself in a pinch.
Yeah,
And one
for
thing,
sure.
like I wish I listened to from my parents was saving,
Yeah.
right? And I got really good at it when I was younger, and I didn't have a lot of bills. It was a lot easier to
Yeah.
save for things.
Yep.
Um, and I would never let my savings account go below $2,000. And back then, $2,000 was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And but somewhere along the line, I just got careless with my money,
Mm.
and my savings went from 2,000 to 200 to no savings.
Yeah.
And I would just spend all my money. I paid my bills, blow all my money,
Yeah.
and I had no savings.
Yeah.
And it caught up to me,
Mm.
and yeah.
Yep, so save those dollar bills. All right, we're gonna come to a close because I feel like we've been rambling for a lot, but this is just like adulthood stuff that we probably wish we would have told ourselves or reiterated to
And
ourselves
you
when
know,
we were
and if
younger.
you're like our age, it's not too late
Oh yeah, it's not
to
too late.
like, whatever.
I feel like it's never too late to get your life together and get all that stuff together.
No, because 30s is the new 20s. But
Oh,
my body
hey.
doesn't feel like that. So,
All right, so I guess that leads us to like our closing, which is this is a question you brought up. In or 5 to 10 years ago, are you where you wanted to be
yeah.
now?
So think back 5 to 10 years, right? Are you where you want to be now? Does it make
What is your
sense?
answer?
My answer.
Or do you think you wait, what? Do you think
No, I'm
you're
not where 5 to 10. If
where you wanted to be?
myself 5 to 10 years ago, I'm not where I wanted to be
Okay. And why?
because I didn't see myself living in Alabama or in
True.
a different state.
True.
Um, I actually had no sense of direction in my life 5 to 10 years, 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Mm.
10 years ago, I was 21,
Mm.
and I really had no sense of direction. I was just in the moment kind of deal.
Yeah.
So I didn't know where I'd be in 10 years.
Yeah.
5 years ago, when we first got married, um, all I knew was, I wanted to, you know, of course, like start a family with you and raise our family in Hawaii.
Yeah.
But here we are 5 years later, new state, you know, with a 2-year-old. But I'm super, super grateful for where we're at right now
Yeah.
and the opportunities that we have. Yeah, looking back 5 to 10 years from now to this moment, probably asking myself the same question: Am I where I want to be? And it's a good question to ask yourself here and there to gauge where you're at in life and where
Yeah.
you want to go. Um, but yeah, I'm just super grateful for where we're at now.
Yeah. I think 5 to 10. Oh, let's do 10 years ago. Am I where I thought I was gonna be? Probably not. In some ways, yes, because I always wanted to get married and have kids
Right, right.
by 30. So here we are. And then career wise, no. I did not think that I was going to be where I'm at. I was really passionate 10 years ago about video production, and I wanted to like my dream job would be to like just film and work on music videos. Like I really love the cinematography that comes with music videos. Am I doing that now? No. And in some ways yes, and at the church we would do lots of music videos and I would get to do that and that was really fun and awesome. But is that what I want to do now? No. I love what I'm doing now. I love being a stay-at-home mom, but also a working stay-at-home mom and working from home. I love that I started a business 10 years ago. I never thought I would start a business, and here I am now starting a business. And yeah, it's just crazy how plans change, and but like for the better in our situation. So yeah, I'm not where I thought I was gonna be,
Yeah.
but I love where I am.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I didn't know I'd be living in Alabama.
Yeah, it's crazy. 10 years ago, I wanted to be a firefighter. I never thought I'd be building cars for one of the biggest companies in the world.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Crazy.
But hey, here we are.
So yeah, if you guys are listening, go ahead and ask yourself that question and don't let it like discourage you if you're not where you wanted to be. But just let it like motivate you and encourage you to get to where you want to
Right.
be, right? And so, I don't know, at the end of this, at the end of all of this and like the adulthood hood life, like it's hard. It's hard being an adult compared to being a teenager or a kid because you literally have not as much worries as a kid. You get to have all the fun in the world.
Right.
You live rent free for the most part. And an adulthood changes that completely. So for those of you that are in that season of like transitioning from teenagers to your 20s and adulthood life, don't be discouraged when things don't go as planned or as you hope for. It's never too late to like just pick up yourself and just work hard for the things that you
Right.
want,
Yeah.
right? You're
'Cause
young, you can do
yeah.
it.
And like I'm 30 years old or 31 and I just started a whole new career.
Yeah.
So just because you're in your 20s and like we're like I mentioned earlier, we're conditioned to think a certain way.
Yeah.
Like don't feel like you have to start your career or the career that you're in right now is the one you're going to be working in
Yeah.
for the rest of your life.
Or don't feel bad for like not starting at, or like, yeah,
Right.
don't think
Take
you're a failure.
Yeah, take time to figure things out, right? And
Yeah.
everything will fall into place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Work hard.
Mm-hmm.
You got this. Stay motivated.
Right.
Surround yourself with people who will help you, and help encourage you and motivate you to be the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
Because we believe that you can do it, and like I said, we didn't think that we'd be where we are today, and here we are. No, we're not making millions of dollars. We don't have a yacht. We don't have any of this, but we're content with what we have.
Right.
And if we can do it, you can do it. So, yeah, we just want to say thank you so much for listening or watching today's episode. We hope you guys were encouraged by it. I had fun talking about this subject. I was like, I didn't know what to expect, really. I was just like, okay, let's just talk about it. But it was fun.
Yeah, me too. Now I'm looking forward to doing adult stuff and go wash the car.
Nice. All right. Well, thanks, guys, for tuning in this week. We hope you have a great week wherever you are, and we'll see you in next week's episode. Bye.
Bye.